People are now going into Emmanuel AME Church here in just about 10 minutes. Church classes will begin at the church affectionately known as Mother Emmanuel, and that will be before the 9:30 Eastern services that are scheduled. But as the people of this community of Charleston try to heal after the heartache caused by this tragedy, we're learning more about the man who confessed to the slaughter of 9 members of this church. And a racist rant on a website owned by the confessed killer, Dylann Roof, reads in part, let's put up on the screen so people can read along with me. "I have no choice," he writes. "Someone has to have the bravery to take it to the real world, and I guess that has to be me." The site also has pictures of Roof holding a Confederate flag, burning American flags, and wearing a shirt with a racist message. Here's more from CNN's Nick Valencia.
The pictures are startling. Confessed Charleston church shooter Dylann Roof holds a burning American flag. He takes aim with a .45 caliber Glock pistol with a laser sight. He holds a Confederate flag. The website Roof owns, titled The Last Rhodesian, on it a manifesto that captures the 21-year-old's troubling words. "We have no skinheads, no real KKK, no one doing anything but talking on the internet." The document reads, "Well, someone has to have the bravery to take it to the real world, and I guess that has to be me." Roof hints at why he chose Charleston to carry out the massacre that left 9 members of the Emmanuel AME Church dead, calling Charleston the most historic city in my state. Roof, who appeared in court Friday to face formal charges, said he became transformed by the controversial Trayvon Martin case. "I was in disbelief," Roof writes. "How could the news be blowing up the Trayvon Martin case while hundreds of these black-on-white murders got ignored?" It was not clear what he was referring to. This latest piece of a complicated puzzle may offer some insights for investigators, but it's no consolation for a community still reeling from the violence.
Heartbreaking. And my prayers definitely go out to the family. It's just heartbreaking.
And overnight, we received a statement from the family of Trayvon Martin that read in part, "It is very unfortunate that an individual with such a vile mind and clear criminal intent would dare seek to undermine our mission of peace in an attempt to destroy the legacy of our son, Trayvon Martin. Trayvon did not commit any crime, nor did he murder anyone. He, too, was a victim." This shooter said that he wanted to start a race war, hoped that the community would be divided, but it appears that the exact opposite has happened as residents here, far and beyond, have handled this situation with integrity and grace, and we've seen that unity firsthand, especially this morning, Victor.
Indeed, the antithesis of a race war. When I came here, there were people of many races from not just across the state, but across the country,
That's right.
Singing, crying, embracing one another. Nick Valencia, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the legal impact and ramifications of this reported manifesto from Dylann Roof. We've got with us defense attorney Scott Bolden. Thank you for joining us again, Scott.
Thank you for having me again.
So, given this manifesto apparently was written by Dylann Roof, there is clarity here. Demented logic, but clarity. How does one defend a client like Roof?
Well, that manifesto, whether they can get it into evidence or not, gives you a window into his mind. It has intent. It has all the things that the prosecution would want. First of all, you got to find someone to defend this individual because it's a high-profile matter, but some lawyers may not want to take it. Secondly, insanity by the insanity defense would be available, but it would be because of could he distinguish between legal right and wrong, but also under South Carolina law, could he distinguish between what's morally right and wrong, which is a quirk in the law compared to other jurisdictions?
I don't want to get too deep into the weeds here, but you mentioned at the top, if they can get it into evidence, you think that might be a difficult carry for the prosecution?
Well, CNN has made a big deal as to who the author was, but it's clearly registered to Roof, and so it may be difficult to get in depending on who the witness would be. It would probably be whoever owned the website or whoever leased it to Roof. But there again, you may not have to get it in because you could bring it in through other individual witnesses as part of your investigation. So whether it comes in or doesn't come in doesn't really matter. The information is vital and important and could be used against him if this case were to be tried.
How does this compromise any potential guilty or not guilty because of a legal insanity or mental disability?
Well, it's going to be subject to how both sides interpret it, but the reality is that Dylann Roof needs to be examined by a psychiatrist to determine, one, whether he's capable or competent to stand trial, one. Two, could he distinguish between right and wrong, morally or otherwise? And three, is he capable of taking a plea? You know, some political prisoners, they either want to plea or they don't want to plea. He's got to be found capable enough to do that. So the state will have their own psychiatrist, the defense will have their own psychiatrist, and they will compare notes, and then ultimately it'll be up to the judge as to whether, one, he's capable of standing trial, can he take a plea of guilty or not guilty, and does he really appreciate what's going on around him, let alone appreciate the difference between right and wrong or morally right and wrong when he committed these acts.
What's the next step here, Scott?
Well, once he's been arraigned, you know, under capital murder in South Carolina, the state will appoint two experienced lawyers, one from legal aid and the other one from the private sector, I think, and then they will begin to prepare their defense, and their defense will be in two buckets. One, are we going to put on a defense of insanity and to plead not guilty by reason of insanity? But two, if he's found guilty, even if he's found guilty with being mentally ill, are these mitigating circumstances that will save his life ultimately?
All right, Scott Bolden, thank you so much for being with us. We'll continue to cover the developments this morning. In just minutes, church classes will begin here at Mother Emanuel. We'll continue the coverage inside politics with